Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Tech Talk Tuesday. My name's Mike, Peterbilt Mike, #1 Peterbilt and CABOVER ambassador for all of YouTube. Anyways, for this Tech Talk Tuesday, I thought, and it's a beautiful day. I mean, it's cold. It's like -10 Celsius, but you know what? The roads are kind of dryish, and that's the beauty of the cold weather. Is the roads are good. So it's all about Peterbilt's new dash. So I'm going to take this brand new 389. Oh yeah. Check it out. Yep, I'm taking this new 389 that I have sold for a quick rip and show you guys what the new dash is like. Check this out. It's all about the new dash in a Peterbilt 389. Well, actually in any Peterbilt for that matter. 567, 579, 367. I think that's it. Except for the medium duties. Medium duties have a new dash too, but I don't have one of those yet. So when I do, we'll do a thing on it. So yeah, this is our digital dash. And it looks fantastic. I'm gonna give you guys the straight goods as to my honest opinion on it. The things I like, the things I don't like. Before I forget, if you would like a Peterbilt toque like this one, or some people call them beanies, just go to shoppeterbiltmike.com and you can get your very own Peterbilt toque. So I'm wearing my toque because it's, you know, what did I say, -10? Oh, I'm a little off. It's -7. See, there it is, right there, -7. And that right there means that the roads could be slippery. So that indicator is, yeah, it just means that it could be slippery and snowy. So, but yeah, it's -7 Celsius. So it's warmed up a bit. It's good. So anyways, I'm gonna put you guys on my head so you can see the driver's perspective, and we're gonna take it for a little rip, and you guys can see how it acts and reacts and all that good stuff, because it is quite a bit different. Now, I got the seat sitting, I like to sit up a little bit, and from the factory, you know, the seats don't go back as much as I would like, but it's comfortable. And now the new dash, you adjust it by flipping that lever down, and it tilts like this. So the new dash and steering wheel geometry, the tilt steering geometry, if you will, works really good for guys that like a low base seat, because you can drop the wheel right down and you can pull it back to you. So I'll just do this. Okay, turn the fan down a bit. So yeah, with this new steering column, it hinges down low, kind of like the old school days. If you guys remember the old steering column, they were a lot nicer than the last bunch of years we've had, in my opinion. And this one is just like that. Because it tilts down lower, rather than just, you know, tilt the wheel or go up and down, you can actually get it closer to you. So with being a Peterbilt, if you like to have your seat back, this is perfect because it can pull your steering wheel back. So if I pull it all the way back, all the way down, right here, now it's a little bit too close to me, but if I move the seat back a little bit, I'm telling you, it's perfect. Now the only downside, well actually, you know what, it works really good. I was gonna say the only downside is with my field of view right now, I can't see the, oh no, I can see. So, well, I guess it depends on how much air you have in your seat too. But sitting here, I can see my left and right turn signals. It's the actual medium part of the dash where it's got your time and temperature that it blocks. But I can still see the kilometers, can still see my all my gauges, so that's actually pretty good. And ironically, if you remember the old generation, the way you tilted the steering wheel, it would block your signals indicators that were down here just below your gauge cluster. So ironically enough, the new steering column tilt mechanism is actually better, or would have been better for the old style indicator bar. But anyways, I really like this tilt. So anyways, I don't like to sit like that, so I'm gonna let's see, get comfortable for myself. Make sure my seat's all the way back. Yep, a little more air in the seat, pull up my armrest. Oh yeah, that's good. Put my seatbelt on because we are going to go driving. Because, I mean, it's TikTok Tuesday. Gotta go for a drive. Put my D plate on the dash. Be all legal beagle, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to pull it out. And I think, yep, I think that's good for me right there. So now the way I'm sitting, it does block my left turn signal, but I can see the temperature, outside air temperature, and I can see the time. So a little bit annoying that I can't see the signal light, but I also can't see the high beam indicator, so that's not a bad thing. And I'm sure at night it'll glow. And I can actually see the signal lights because this one's got mirror mounted signal lights out of my peripherals. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying not being able to see my signal light. This new wheel, it's kind of nice. Now this is the leather wrap. I don't think it's as thick as the last leather wrap we had. You know, it was quite girthy, and it's got these kind of nice little, I don't know, kind of like nubs for holding on. And the cool thing is, like your selector, so we've got our cruise here, which of course we use for fast idle. So I just hit on, set. It's set to fast idle at 1100 RPM, so that's really good. Over here, we've got the music selector, so we can adjust, we can mute our stereo, which I just did, or I can turn up the volume. And then I can mute it. I can change between AM, FM, Sirius with the SR band, weather, so that's handy. You can answer your phone, so right there you can answer your phone, or you can skip through your channels. So you want to skip to your favorite Sirius satellite radio, you want to skip to Peterbilt Mike on demand. Well, actually I'm not on demand on Sirius yet, but you know what, one day we could be doing that. So that's handy. So that controls your radio. And the nice thing is your Jake is not on the steering wheel, on your smart wheel, if you want to call it that. I know some people have complained about the Kenworth smart wheel because the Jake's on it, and then you're turning like this, and then you bump stuff. The nice thing with this, like, it's raised here, it's raised over there, and these are kind of indent. So if you're a guy that likes to rub his arm on it, you won't be hitting these switches and turning anything on, and you don't have anything important on there anyways. Your Jake is actually here now. I don't know if you guys can see it there. So anyways, I'm gonna put the helmet cam on and take you guys for a drive, and then you can see what I'm looking at as I'm driving. Alrighty, turn my headlights on, release the brakes. So hopefully this helps you guys get a bit of a perspective as to what it looks like when driving. Now obviously the camera's higher than my eyes, so it's kind of like a brow view, but it'll give you an idea. So one of the things that I've noticed with the new digital dash, when you're reversing, it dims. You can still see it faintly, but it does dim. Now I'm not sure if that's a parameter that can be set, but now when I shift out of reverse, it comes back bright. So yeah, that's something new. I find these switches actually work pretty good. Now this one of course is my bunk heater, so I've got that on. All the actually sitting a little on the high side, so let's just go out onto the road here, turn the radio off, and take her for a rip. Maybe I could insert some music here, and I don't know what Peterbilt did to the trucks for 2022, but I'm telling you, these suckers are quiet. Now this is a 389 long hood, 565 2050 torque engine. It's got 46,000 pound rear diffs with 46,000 pound air track suspension. Now, if we look at the gauge cluster, we're currently on basically the simplest version. You've got your speedo, 51 kilometers an hour, and the tach going right around it. Now, if we want to change, here's your selector button roller right there. Basically, we just roll it down. And on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see a little gray dot, and that tells you your different options. So we selected one down, and you get a little bit more of this halo that shows up. All your trip info, I believe, just showed up. We'll just go around the corner here and get out on the highway. We'll get out on the highway because we got our motor running. Let the interstate battery truck go. I guess it's not as clean as I thought it was, but it's not bad. This truck hasn't been detailed yet, so that's okay too. So, the other interesting thing, if you have a gauge or a parameter that has an issue, like suspension load changes, it pops up on the screen to let you know that it's changed. So like if you have a high temperature situation or something like that, it'll pop up on the screen to tell you that it's either high temperature, low air, stuff like that. So now I'm going to roll it down one more notch. Actually, I think I did 2 notches there. Yeah, I'll go back up one. Okay, so we were there, and I want to go down one more. Oh yeah, that was right. So the next one down, it gives you your primary gauges. So we've got our air pressure over here at 121 psi, our oil pressure at 42 bar, which, or is that 42 psi? Oh no, that's psi. Okay, so that's good. You can order it with metric gauges, and in fact, probably a lot of Canadian trucks will be coming with a metric gauge option, just because of, you know, they think in Canada we all friggin' have everything metric, and in reality all we need is our temperature in Celsius and our speedo in kilometers, and the rest can be feet, pounds, psi. Standard is fine. You can see our coolant temperature is 82 degrees. The truck is still quite cold. It is at the midsection though, which is interesting. Oh, that's 81 degrees Celsius. Okay, that makes sense. And then we've got our fuel level gauges. So I've got a gauge in each tank. You can see tank 1, tank 2, and this blue line between them, I kind of squeaked there. The blue line between them is your def level gauge. So that one kind of threw me for a loop, because when it's right full, there's just a long blue line, and I was like, well, where's the gauge? But it's actually that little blue line. So that takes a little bit getting used to, just to get your bearings as to, you know, what full and a half and a quarter. Like, I know when it's a round gauge, it seems easier to understand what a quarter tank is, but I mean, a guy will learn this. I mean, I've already got it figured out, and hasn't been that big of a deal. And you can still get all your regular gauges over here, but the kicker is all your gauges that are over here are available in here. So really, I find for myself, the only reason why I like gauges over here now is because A, you're old school and you like to read the gauges, or you just like the look. And let's face it, I love the look of the gauges there. So, but I mean, listen to how quiet this truck is. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's quiet. I got a little bit of a whistle coming from the mirror arm because it's a bit windy, but other than that, it's quiet. And I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour, which would be, you know, like 64 miles an hour roughly. But I'm gonna split again and go into the big wheel here. Lay it down, lay down the hammer. And there goes my suspension load again. And if I come down to the full gauges, now you can see where we've got our oil temperature, brake application, amp meter, suspension load, your percentage torque, and trans. And now these are all adjustable so that you can actually set these to be your preferred gauges, which I think is really cool. You know, because, you know, there's some things that you care about, like your suspension load. Like if you want to weigh your truck and figure out what's on your drives, I think that is just absolutely fantastic, having a digital readout gauge, because the difference between 9 and 10 psi, you know, could be 50 kilograms or 100 pounds or 200 pounds. So I really like the digital readout for your suspension load, because you can weigh yourself like that. But you know, my overall feel is I quite like it. You know, I know a lot of guys were against it. You know, they don't like the digital readout. I actually find I drive slower with the digital readout because it feels like I'm driving faster, even though I'm just doing the same, which is kind of crazy. But I don't mind it. You know, it's just getting used to it. Your tachometer is still a sweeping gauge, and you can see, ironically enough, cruising at 106, I'm right in the sweet spot. Now, PACCAR's put this green spot there to be the sweet spot for fuel economy. So ideally with the Cummins X15, if I'm in this green graph, it's going to get its best fuel economy, which is actually perfect, because a 389 cruising in Canada, or at least in BC, you know, if you can cruise at just over 100 kilometers an hour, I would say that's just about perfect. Now the other change that's happened, which I've talked about before, is the Jake being on the column. So right now, if you want a Jake, it's right here on the stock. And you'll notice that on the display, when I pull it down one, it pops up on the dash. So that's your first position. Pull it down again, the second bar comes up. Hit it the third time, and that shows that you're on 3 position. You know, which bobtailing, obviously you don't necessarily need to have all 3 positions. But what I like is with it being on the column, it's very usable. Like before, you'd have to reach down, which isn't the end of the world, but reaching over here to adjust your Jake strength, I would never change it. I would always just put it on 3 and I would leave it. And if I didn't want a Jake, I'd step on the clutch, because, you know, I didn't want to have to lean forward to hit the switch. I was, now full disclosure, I was really against this Jake on the stock, because where I come from, when you're going downhill and around switchbacks and stuff like that in the mountains, having your hand valve here to control your trailer brakes is really important. You know, and I still miss having the trailer brakes here for that particular application, but in all reality, especially up in Prince George, not a lot of people do that with the switchback. So the Jake is now a squishy valve on the dash. I don't know if you can see it there, if the camera's showing it. And see, when I pull on the on my hand valve, which is now, I'm going to call it the squishy valve. So when I pull on the squishy valve, it comes up and lets you know that you've pulled it. So it's not like you can pull it on and forget it's there. But it is a little bit different, because now when you're coming down our switchback, you got to reach down and pull that rather than, you know, have it here. But small price to pay to have your Jake on the column, because I think hands down you'll use the Jake on this stock way more than you'll use your hand valve there, you know. And so I can kick it off. So like if you want to slow down using your Jake, make sure there's nobody behind me to irritate. Like there we go, 3 position. You want to go a little quicker, kick it down to 1, kick it off so you can roll up. Very user friendly. So I'll shift down a little bit here since I slowed down on the highway. But there's no one behind me. But yeah, so that's a new digital dash. You know, depending on what you like I know a lot of guys are concerned about the brightness factor. So that's where if you dial it right up to nothing, you know what? There you go. You basically have just the 1 gauge lit up. And then if we want to adjust the brightness, we can use our switch on the dash to where that is just a dull glow. So in the middle of the night, you don't have to worry about the digital gauges blinding you, because I know that was the other concern, because the smart nav's a whole different animal. We've had issues in the past with the smart nav being too bright, blacking out, you know, needing updates, crapping out, you know. So this smart nav has had some issues, but the digital dash is completely separate. So so yeah, you can't make it go completely black, but that's pretty dang dark. So, and then you want it bright again, there it's bright. So I kind of like that. A lot. Now I like all the gauges because it's kind of like smoke them if you got them. If you got them, I want to be able to see them, right? And let's try dimming it down and see what all those gauges are like. Yeah, see, that's pretty good. So when it's really dark and you know, if you like to drive with very little dash light, that's really good. And you know, if something's gonna come up for a warning, it's gonna tell you. So let's pull on our hand valve and see what it does for how bright that is. Oh yeah, see, your warnings aren't really bright either, so that's really good. So it's not gonna be like, ah, it's so bright I can't see where I'm going. There's nothing worse than getting a bright light when your eyes are adjusted to night vision. So the new switches now, they are electric over air, which is interesting. They are smart switches. Now, one of the things that I do where I come from, this interlock, diff lock, unavailable, reduce speed to activate, yeah, we disable that. Because the kicker is, in Canada, when you've got slippery roads, now imagine I'm pulling a hill, we want to be able to activate our interlock. Well, and actually if it's a tri-drive, you have your interlock in all the time. A tri-drive with new tires or equal tread, you should just put your interlock in and forget about it. So yeah, that's something that we would program out. So then you could throw on your diff lockers and have your full diff locks for pulling a hill, because if it's slippery enough that you need those lockers, you don't have to worry about not going around a corner. You're gonna go around. So I sold that one, that's cool. So I'm gonna shut those off. But the switches really have a nice action. I was a little unsure at how this was all gonna tie in, but you know, now that I've seen it for a few months, I quite like it. And this steering column, the way they've done it, like, this is so comfortable. You just can't beat it. And I ain't joking. And I ain't saying that just because I'm a Peterbilt salesman. You truly can. And that, you know, that's why I say that Peterbilt 389 is the king of the road. And Peterbilt has just got it figured out. You know, a long hood truck, it's just so comfortable. Where you sit on the frame makes a huge difference to ride and what you feel. So yeah, you know what, not a great cab though if you're running team and you got a bunch of guys with you or a couple of guys, but for the owner op, you know, you just can't get a better truck. And the beauty is my passenger seat's here, so if I want to reach over and grab my sandwich, or I want to grab my GoPro, or I want to grab my phone, which I don't condone grabbing your phone because you're not supposed to grab your phone, I got thermos holder there, I got 2 coffee cup holders there, and another cup holder there. It's just fantastic. You know what, so comfortable. Got our mirror heat switch here, power mirrors. Now these are the traditional power mirrors, so they go left, right, and they are Motomir brand, so that's cool. And I'm gonna turn off now because the scale is just up around the corner. And even though I'm not afraid to go through the scale, I don't want to go through there if I don't have to. Oh, Jake. Jaking her hard. See if I can make it spin or lock up. I'm not gonna try and make it spin because that's hard on equipment, but I'm not afraid to lock up or slide because I've already done that, but certainly not something a person should be trying to do. Although very much like a car, I think it's good if you're a new driver to go to an area that's slippery, like a big parking lot or a rest area, and just see what your truck is like in the snow. See what it's gonna do, see what traction you have or don't have, to get acquainted with it. And see, just like that, because I'm, you know, shifting and I'm not using the clutch, I was able to just flip my Jake off. So I don't have to worry about my Jake accidentally coming on even though I'm not using my clutch. Because, you know, it's one of those things, you should use your clutch, but I don't. I mean, yeah, I just don't use with the clutch. Use it to start and stop, or if I need it in a pinch for whatever I'm doing, then you use it. But I'm not saying that's the right way to drive, but if you're old school, you probably drive without using your clutch or without using it much. I know Dad, he's been driving for 56 years. He uses his clutch, but he taps the clutch. So, and he just taps the clutch to break torque. Excuse me. And it's way easier on your transmission and all the rest of it. And that guy just passed me. I'm doing 100. Look at that. Little load of hay. But yeah, so cruise control, this is real handy. Just click on. Oh, and actually the cruise control was already on because I had it on. Now there's a nice 389. Gosh, you gotta love them. Turn the cruise control on, hit set, take your feet off the throttle, and away you go. And you can see it says right there what it's set to. It's set to 105 and your speed control. And you know, that's the nice little additions that we didn't have before. It is more automotive, but a lot of the stuff that's more automotive makes it nicer, and it is easier. You know, you got your PTO hours, because I ordered this with all the options because I didn't know what this truck was going to do when I ordered it originally. You know, trip meter and this thing. Oh, that's oh, I see, there you go. So this is a trip meter deal, trip meter dealy-doo, but I set it by just hitting this. So that's like a location button, so I hit that. Gosh, that was so easy. So like if someone says, okay, we need to turn left 2 kilometers from this power pole, we can just say, okay, power pole, hit the button, hits to 0. So now we just watch that till we hit to 2 kilometers. You know, I mean, it's a simple principle, just like we had with the odometer on the dash, but it's, hey, it's 2021. This is a 2022 model. Like, you should have some technology in it, and that's the beauty of this new dash. And this new dash works even better in the 5 Series trucks, just because of how the dash is laid out. It just fits this digital's that much better. But you know, now that I've had it, driven it a bit, I quite like it. I would say, you know, my only gripe is that my signals, like, see, I got my signal light on, I can't see it. If I turn my high beams on, I can't see it. I can dip down like that and I can see it. Or I could look over here, but if I have my steering wheel set comfortable, I can't see it. So that's a bit of a downer, because I know we had that problem when they were down here before. So, but really, that's, I have to say, if that's my only gripe, that's pretty good, I think. What do you guys think? Leave a message down in the descriptions. Hopefully you guys can see this all right, and that my helmet cam is showing it appropriately. But yeah, I don't find it bad at all. And unfortunately, we can't set our gauges while we're driving. But you know, it's very ergonomic. Very ergonomic with having the hand valve Jake switch. I really like that. I should just go pin onto a trailer and haul some logs maybe, guys? Actually, maybe not, because this isn't a log truck. This is a highway truck. It's a Mac Daddy of all highway trucks. 389, long hood, 78-inch bunk. You know, it just doesn't get any better than this. And I mean, I know I probably sound like a broken record, but it truly is the #1 truck out there. It is the king. You know, and I would say, okay, second to this might be a W900, but they are not anywhere near as comfortable as a Peterbilt 389. I'd love to do a side-by-side comparison, because if you compare how your foot sits on your throttle pedal, yeah, they don't compare. Peterbilt wins hands down, all day, every day. So overall impressions, what are my thoughts? I really like it. I don't think you're stepping down by having this dash compared to the analog dash. You know, the analog dash, it was still electronics in behind it. So this is just a little bit different format, because now it's a digital gauge instead of a digital swipey needle. But you know, I think it's a huge thing to have this in a 389. because with having it in the 389, Peterbilt wouldn't have engineered it into the 389 and 367 if they were going to get rid of it this year. So that is probably the best news, hands down, is that the Peterbilt 389, fingers crossed, should be here for another, I'm hoping 2 years. So obviously the 367 will get discontinued before the 389, but let's face it, nobody spends money on engineering if they plan on axing it, which is why some other brands, you know, when they don't have the digital dash, yeah, it's because they're going to discontinue those models probably, and they're not spending any more money on it. So at least I hope that's the case. So I'm a fan. You know what, the Jake on the column, I'm a fan of that too. It's something that you're going to use every day. You know, you're not always going to use your hand valve there every day, but you are going to use your Jake on the column all day long. Maybe not all day long, but you know, anytime you're coming to a stop, if you're like me, you're going to start using it, and then it's going to be second nature, to where now you're using your Jake settings, where before you probably were like me and you just had it on one and didn't move it, because that's what I did. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I know I am a Peterbilt salesman, so I might be a little bit biased, but I try to give you the straight goods, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let you make up your own mind from there. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's my review of the Peterbilt 389 digital dash. Now, this digital dash is in all Peterbilt models, like I said, and now that we're stopped, we can adjust our settings. So I just hit this, so I'll just hit it back again. I don't exactly know how I did this. So I did a system check, activation warning. We got green lights around everything. That's kind of cool. And then if we hit this back button here, oh, so this is what I did. I just hit this and this came up. Oh yeah, there we go. Trip summary, settings, truck information. So that's where you can find out what your VCU and your, anyway, full trip. That's how we do it. Marker C, and then it switches over. So I just had to push the button again. Look at the amount of information that's there though. Like for your trips, I gotta turn the heat down, man, I'm cooking. So that's really cool. We'll back out of here, back out of trip. Oops. Want to go back down to settings, hit select, general, favorites. Oh yeah, your own custom gauge view. Well, that's cool. Go to the editing mode of your favorites. Yeah. So we're gonna leave that on. Shortcuts. So we can get, you may activate one of the following options and assist the shortcut button on the steering wheel for quick access when driving. So that would be this button here for quick access. So we could set it to dual speedo. I wonder what dual speedo looks like. Oh, that's probably like if you want to have miles per hour and kilometers an hour. So let's try that. On. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna try dual speedo. Settings, go back into settings, general, time format, 24 hour, automatic time. We're gonna turn it on, and you can see the time just changed to 1:55 because that's what time it actually is. Language English, digital RPM, well that's fun, dual speedo, and oh, you could add a numeric readout for RPMs if you don't like the sweep gauge. Well, that's handier than all heck. So if we back right out to the main menu, back, there. Now we can crawl through all our gauges. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, so here, now that we're parked, when you scroll right to the bottom, this is where you can select your own custom gauges. So we can go, what do we want? So right now we're gonna be setting this one. So we wanna change it to axle temps. We hit add, and it's going to display it over there. Sorry, I said it was going to be here, but it's actually over there. Your air stuff, these ones don't change. So now we got our axle temps over there. So we want to add a gauge. Let's have brake application trailer. So you want to know how hard you're setting your brakes or stepping on your brakes? Right there. Hit add. So now we've got trailer brake application there. And then I want, what's another one I want? Engine boost? Yeah, let's go with engine boost. Oh, I don't want to replace that one. We're going to add it down there. So that's going to tell you how much boost your turbo's putting out. Now it's going to go to the other side, and we want air suspension at the top. So there we go. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. Scroll through, and all you have to do to select between the ones you're setting is scroll through your I forget what they call this, but this button here with the dial. So we're going to click add. So now that's our suspension load. And what do we want below that? Brake application. So we'll scroll down, hit add there. So now we've got our brake application. And then what's another one we might like? Engine coolant. That one's one of the main ones. Oil pressure, oil temperature. Let's go with oil pressure. So select, scroll down, add. And that's it. So you've got 6 adjustable preset gauges. I'm going to hit save and exit. And there, your favorites layout has been saved. It wasn't that difficult. And that's it. That's it. It really wasn't that difficult. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. That's my review of the new Peterbilt Digital Dash. And overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It would have been a 9.5, but you know what? Not being able to see the signal lights was a bit of a bummer. But love the steering wheel, love the new tilt. I like the gauges. I would have given it another half, except I find the fuel gauge was a little bit to get used to, but now I get it. Now I get the depth gauge. So, and yeah, and really the only thing that I can really be hard on it is the signal lights being hidden, and that's where I have the steering wheel. And I must add, I drove a new 567 today for a customer, and that issue isn't there in the 5 Series. So when I get that truck back, if I get it back, or when I get another 5 Series, I'm going to do a review on it, because I actually find with the 5 Series dash, it's a little bit better and more ergonomic than the 3 Series. I know, we all love the 3 Series, we all love the 389, and I love it too, but the 5 Series dash it's more ergonomic, and it's just true. It's just true. I mean, a 389 long hood does look better, hands down. No BS. I mean, there is only one king. But the 5 Series dash, it's nice. It's really nice. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Peterbilt Mike. Hope you enjoyed this Tech Talk Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. What's real work, Mike? I don't know, Mike. Here's another quick little tidbit. I learned that some things are powered up when the key is off that weren't before. So I don't know if that's a setting or not, but just keep that in mind. If you're in a new truck, make sure you don't have any of your gauges lit up, just so you don't kill your battery. Because, yeah, salesman might have done that, might have left a switch on and killed a battery, and then you had to jump start it. But anyways, guys, take care.